Are you wondering where in Mexico you should retire? It's kind of a loaded question, but I've got the person who can answer that question with me today, and that's Mariana from the Mexico Relocation Guide. So we are here in Ajijic and hanging out on a park bench in one of the best places to retire in Mexico, I think. But we're going to figure out what is the best place to retire for you. So let's meet Mariana and just hear a little bit about her background.
Hi everyone, Mariana here with Mexico Relocation Guide. Thank you so much, Brighton, for inviting me to your channel to talk to your audience about where in Mexico you should retire. We're in beautiful Lake Chapala. We're in Ajijic. Lake Chapala is right behind us. And yeah, we're here for the Mextranjero event. Thank you so much, Brighton. Where in Mexico should you retire? Man, that's such a loaded question because it really depends on you, right? Obviously, Ajijic is one of the most popular places where people want to retire. I get why. It's a beautiful city. It's got a lot of charm. There's a huge expat community here of English-speaking and other foreign countries. And then the lifestyle is very laid back. You've got perfect weather almost year-round, good restaurants, good healthcare, good infrastructure. So, but where is right for you really depends on you. I would say that you really have to make a list of the things that are important to you. Do you want to live in a big city? Do you want to live in a smaller town? Is it very important for you to be able to walk everywhere? Is it important for you to have a really good hospital nearby? Depending on what your background is, like, what's your lifestyle like? Do you need to have a lot of malls nearby? Do you need to have a lot of different shopping options? Or are you okay with maybe like being further away from, separated from those kinds of things for those conveniences, and having a more, quiet town that you can walk everywhere, everyone knows each other. And then, maybe you're only an hour driving away from a city like that. So there's a lot of differences in different cities and towns in Mexico that check off different boxes for different people. Like, is it important for you to be near a big international airport, or are you okay driving an hour away to the nearest international airport? But yeah, there's a lot of different things that you can ask yourself and make a checklist for yourself of what's important, and that'll help you narrow down the cities and make a short list of places that are right for you. Because whatever is right for like Brighton might be different for you. Whatever is right for me might be different for you. We all have different perspectives and different priorities in life.
So it's actually rather chilly here in Ajijic today. This is a much more, I don't want to say chilly, but a much more temperate climate than like La Paz, because in the summer here, it gets to reasonably warm. And in La Paz, it gets too hot, or somewhere like Merida gets to hot, hot, hot. So, but there are people who just love Merida. And for someone like me who lives part-time in Mexico, La Paz is a great answer, even because we have a palapa house, which means we have a palm thatch roof. And so we can't air condition the house, but it works for us just because of our lifestyle. So there's an awful lot of questions. And I've heard there's a resource out there. So Mariana, is there a good resource for helping you make the determination for what should be on your list?
I have a couple of great resources that can help you come up with your short list, right? I have a blog post on our website on like how to determine where in Mexico you should live. So Mexico is very big and it has dozens of cities that are right for different people. So it has questions that you should ask yourself, and that way you can make yourself a checklist and narrow down to maybe, 2 to 3 cities that you want to go on a scouting trip on. We do have private relocation tours in 50 plus cities across Mexico and growing. So, once you come up with your list of 2 to 3 cities that you want to go check out, I really recommend that you go on a private relocation tour. That way you don't have to worry about renting a car, figuring out how to get from point A to point B. A local will show you around and give you, like a boot camp into what living there is like. That way you get to really determine, one, you get boots on the ground. So you really get to feel what is it like to be there. No amount of YouTube videos from our channel or blog posts that I share will be able to replace your personal experience. So really you visiting that specific city or town is going to be key for you to find what's the right place for you. And then, of course, I also recommend following other channels like Brighton's channel, who shares so many different interviews from so many different cities of people who have moved to different parts of Mexico and what was their motivation and what do they like about that city. That'll also help you determine if that city is right for you.
Yeah, just yesterday I was talking with some other creators, and I actually came up with this idea that the United States has flyover states. It's kind of like the middle, like everyone kind of like thinks of like the Californias and the Pacific Northwest and the Southeast and the East Coast, and that's where everyone lives. And then there's the flyover states. In Mexico, it's not like that. There are so many places. I mean, most of us, when we think of Mexico, we think of the beach. We think of those destinations that are on the outside of Mexico, but there really is an awful lot inside Mexico, like Ajijic here. We're up in the mountains. The weather is amazing year round. There's a lot of culture here, a lot of history. So I think it's worth looking all the way across the country, not just the beach destinations that you might be already familiar with. But let's throw out a couple of ideas here. Let's say we want somewhere that has a hospital nearby because we're worried about healthcare, that is close to an airport because we want family to become able to come and visit. That is also, not, well, I guess with the airport, it's easy to get back to the United States, but it also has a beach. So let's look at those three criteria and see if Mariana can come up with the perfect place to live.
Cities that have an airport, that have good healthcare nearby, and maybe possibly a beach nearby. Well, I feel like Mexico City kind of fits that bill. But maybe you don't want to live in a big city like Mexico City. Mexico City is relatively close to Acapulco. And, a lot of people actually travel to Acapulco from Mexico City. Plus, there's also a lot of flights from Mexico City to basically anywhere in Mexico, beach towns included. Um, Merida is also another city that kind of fits that bill, has great hospitals, really good infrastructure, an international airport, and then you've got Progreso, which is a beautiful beach that's about 45 minutes away. So you've got Merida, you've got Mexico City. There are other cities that are maybe not close to a beach, but that I feel are left out sometimes, including Puebla. Puebla is a beautiful city, has really good food, has a really good international airport, good infrastructure, good hospitals. Beaches are not nearby, so you probably have to drive more than 5 hours to get to a beach. I think maybe, okay, Jalapa. Jalapa doesn't get talked about much. That's in Veracruz. And it's a big city, has good infrastructure, good hospitals. It's not overly saturated with a lot of foreigners. So for people who are looking for maybe a city that where they feel like they are going to be really forced to learn their Spanish, Jalapa might just be the place for you. And obviously the beach is right there. So there's so many cities in Mexico. Querétaro is another one that I feel like, maybe now it's like kind of caught on in popularity. But there's so many. San Luis Potosí, Aguascalientes, San Miguel de Allende, obviously, Ajijic, which you guys have probably heard of, Cuernavaca, Tepoztlán. There's just so many. Valle de Bravo, like there's so much more to Mexico than just, the Puerto Vallartas, the Cancuns of the world, the expat hotspots that a lot of people have probably heard of already. So yeah, I hope that gives you a good starting list.
So there were a couple of cities on that list that are on my list that I haven't been to yet, and I will be sure to be making videos when I get to those places. And a couple of cities that I had never even heard of. It just shows you how Mexico is so much more than just those beach destinations. And there's nothing wrong with the beach destinations. If that's what you're looking for, definitely go for it. So it looks like you got some homework to do now, is to start making that list. Head over to the Mexico Relocation Guide to and we'll have a link down to the specific blog post where you can start making your list of where to go. That'll be down in the description. Also, I've got up here a button to go over to the Mexico Relocation Guide videos. They are the most helpful videos, I think, out there. And I've got folks from all around Mexico, foreigners who live in Mexico. I've got a playlist of those up here so you can see other folks who've moved to Mexico and follow in their footsteps. So from Ajijic, Mexico, wish you were here. Hasta luego.